Hello everyone. Have you ever felt that relentless, quiet pressure to appear perfect? To have all the answers, to never show a crack in your armor, to always be on top of your game? What if the very things we hide, our imperfections, our fears, our moments of uncertainty, are not sources of weakness, but the wellsprings of our greatest power? For decades, the world has operated on a simple, unspoken rule. Vulnerability is a liability. It's a weakness to be avoided at all costs. We've been told to toughen up, to put on a brave face, and to keep our emotions in check. But a groundbreaking researcher spent years challenging this very assumption. Dr. Brené Brown, a scholar of shame, vulnerability, and courage, discovered a stunning truth that has since resonated with millions. The most powerful, connected, and courageous people are not those who avoid vulnerability, but those who lean into it. In her powerful book, Daring Greatly, she reveals that vulnerability isn't a sign of weakness. It is the very birthplace of innovation, creativity, and love. It is the core of meaningful human connection. This isn't a pep talk, it's a deep dive into the research that changed our understanding of what it means to be brave. In the next 30 minutes, we're going to explore the myths that hold us back, the deep-seated shame that binds us, the armor we wear to protect ourselves, and the path to stepping into the arena of our own lives. We'll discover that your greatest power is indeed the one you've been most afraid to use. Part 1. The misconceptions and the call to courage. Before we can embrace vulnerability, we must first dismantle the myths we've been taught to believe about it. Brené Brown's research unearthed several common misconceptions that prevent us from truly showing up in our lives. The first myth is the powerful belief that vulnerability is weakness. We often equate it with being overly emotional, with public breakdowns, or with being an easy target. But Brown's work shows the exact opposite. Think about the most courageous acts you've ever witnessed. Starting a new business without a safety net, telling someone you love them first, asking for help, or standing up for what's right in the face of immense criticism. Each of these actions requires a deep well of courage, and each is an act of profound vulnerability. It is the willingness to be seen, without a guarantee of the outcome, that makes it brave. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is the most accurate and precise measure of courage. The second myth is the idea that some of us are just not vulnerable. We see people who appear perpetually composed and think, they just don't do vulnerability. But the truth is, vulnerability is a universal human experience. It is the uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure we all navigate simply by being alive. To be human is to be vulnerable. The person who seems invulnerable isn't avoiding it. They're likely just hiding it, and that hiding often comes at a steep cost to their own well-being and their ability to forge genuine connections. The third myth is that vulnerability is oversharing. This is a critical distinction. True vulnerability is a measured, reciprocal exchange. It's about opening yourself up in a way that builds connection with people who have earned the right to hear your story. It's a trust-building exercise. Oversharing, or what Brown calls floodlighting, is often an unmeasured act that dumps your story onto an unsuspecting audience. It's a different energy, often seeking attention or affirmation rather than true connection. The difference is intention and context. True vulnerability requires trust, boundaries, and a sense of mutual respect. It's not about broadcasting your deepest fears to the world. It's about sharing your authentic self with those who you feel safe with. To understand why this is so important, we must look at the title of the book itself. It's inspired by a famous speech by Theodore Roosevelt called Citizenship in a Republic. Roosevelt's speech talks about the man in the arena, the one whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, but who at the worst, if he fails, fails while daring greatly. This is the central call of the book, to be in the arena. It's a call to move beyond the critics in the cheap seats, the people who sit on the sidelines, passing judgment without ever getting in the game. It is a call to dare greatly, to be courageous enough to show up and be seen, to try, to risk, and to fail. It is a powerful call to put down the armor and live your life fully. Part 2. The shame scarcity core and the armor we wear. To truly step into the arena, we must understand the forces that keep us out. At the core of our fear of vulnerability is shame. Brown defines shame as the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. It is a powerful, silent, and destructive emotion that is a profound fear of disconnection. It's crucial to distinguish shame from guilt. Guilt is a painful feeling about something you did. I did something bad. Guilt can be a motivator for change and growth because it separates the act from the self. Shame, on the other hand, is a painful feeling about who you are. I am bad. Shame breeds defensiveness, avoidance, and a deep sense of unworthiness that prevents us from showing up in our lives. It whispers, "You are not enough." This shame is fueled by a culture of scarcity. We live in a world of not enough. We're not smart enough, pretty enough, successful enough, thin enough, or rich enough. This culture of scarcity creates a constant, low-level hum of anxiety, telling us that there's not enough to go around, not enough joy, not enough money, not enough love. In response to this shame and scarcity, we develop an intricate armor to protect ourselves. This armor might seem to keep us safe, but it's a heavy, isolating burden. It keeps us safe from the pain of vulnerability, but it also locks us out of the joy of genuine connection. Brown highlights 3 of the most common forms of this armor. 1. Perfectionism. The dangerous belief that if we do everything perfectly, we can avoid blame, judgment, and shame. But as Brown points out, perfectionism is not about striving for excellence. It's a shield that prevents us from showing our true selves. It's an illusion of control in an attempt to earn worthiness. 2. Numbing. Using food, alcohol, work, or endless scrolling to dull the uncomfortable feelings of vulnerability. We can't selectively numb emotion. When we numb the pain, we also numb the joy, gratitude, and connection. It's a temporary escape that ultimately robs us of our capacity for joy. 3. Cynicism and blame. A form of armor that distances us from others by mocking or demeaning their earnest efforts. It's an easy way to avoid the messy business of showing up and risking our own vulnerability. We blame others to offload our own pain and discomfort, but blame is a powerful currency that destroys trust and connection. Recognizing our armor is the first step toward putting it down. It's a courageous act of self-awareness. Part 3. The path to connection. So, if vulnerability is the path to connection, how do we navigate it safely? Brené Brown offers powerful insights on the tools that help us build strong, meaningful relationships. First and foremost is the practice of empathy. Empathy is a skill that allows us to connect with others' feelings. Brown defines it beautifully. Empathy is feeling with people. It's about being able to see their perspective, to not judge them, to understand their feelings, and to communicate that understanding. It's crucial to distinguish empathy from sympathy. Sympathy is feeling for people. It's often pity, and it creates a power imbalance. When we say, "I'm so sorry that happened," we're often at a safe distance. Empathy, on the other hand, requires us to get into the mess with them. It's a courageous and vulnerable act that says, "I understand what it's like to feel that way. You are not alone." Empathy is the key to building the second crucial tool, boundaries. This might seem counterintuitive. How can you be vulnerable and also have boundaries? Brown says that boundaries are not about keeping others out, they are about protecting your own compassion. The most compassionate people she interviewed were also the most boundaried. They had a clear sense of what was okay and what was not okay, and they had the courage to communicate those boundaries. Without boundaries, our compassion becomes resentment, and we lose the capacity to genuinely connect with others. Finally, trust is the bedrock of vulnerability, and Brown breaks down trust into 7 key components with the acronym BRAVING. Boundaries. You respect my boundaries, and you are clear about your own. Reliability. You do what you say you're going to do. Accountability. You own your mistakes, apologize, and make amends. Vault. You don't share information with others that is not yours to share. Integrity. You choose courage over comfort. You choose what is right over what is fun, fast, or easy. And you practice your values, not just profess them. Non-judgment. We can fall apart and ask for help without being judged. Generosity. You make the most generous assumptions possible about my intentions, words, and actions. Building trust is a slow, methodical process, built on these small, consistent acts. It's the safe container in which true vulnerability can flourish. Part 4, the 10 guideposts for wholehearted living. This journey isn't just about putting down our armor. It's about building a new, more courageous way of life. Brown calls this wholehearted living, engaging in our lives from a place of worthiness. It is the practice of courage, compassion, and connection. So, how do we start? Brown's research identified 10 key guideposts. Here are a few to get you started. 1. Cultivating authenticity and letting go of what people think. Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. It's a courageous act that requires us to show up, be seen, and live from a place of our true self. 2. Practicing self-compassion and letting go of perfectionism. Perfectionism is a self-destructive belief that we can avoid shame by being perfect. Self-compassion is the practice of treating ourselves with the same kindness, care, and understanding we would offer to a good friend. 3. Cultivating a resilient spirit. Resilient people are not immune to setbacks. They know how to get back up after they fall. The key to resilience is hope, which is a combination of believing that your goals are achievable and having the confidence that you can find a path to get there. 4. Cultivating gratitude and joy. In a world of scarcity, we are wired to focus on what's missing. Wholehearted living requires a conscious effort to focus on what's present. Practice gratitude daily by simply acknowledging the good things in your life. And make space for joy, even in small, mundane moments, by actively looking for it. 5. Embracing rest and play. We often see rest and play as luxuries, something to be earned. But Brown's research shows they are vital for creativity, connection, and resilience. True rest and play are about surrendering to the moment and releasing our need for control. Your power is ready to be unleashed. We began with a question about our hidden power. The answer, as Brené Brown's work so brilliantly reveals, is that it's not hidden at all. It's right there, on the other side of our fear, shame, and the armor we've so carefully constructed. Vulnerability is not a choice, it's a reality. We can either live our lives trying to outrun it, or we can choose to be brave and lean into it. We can either choose to stay on the sidelines, safe from criticism, or we can choose to step into the arena and truly live. The path to a full, powerful, and connected life lies in embracing the messy, beautiful reality of being human. It lies in having the courage to say, "This is who I am," and in the willingness to risk the outcome. Your greatest power is the one you've been afraid to use. How open-minded are you to putting down just one piece of your armor and daring to show up in the arena of your own life, starting today?